Dittos! People can't imagine a world without them. They're driving our cars. They're doing our taxes. They're transforming into our childhood crushes and making us a Sunday dinner. Yes, many believe there's nothing these pink amorphous blobs can't do. But can they use every move in Generation 1? This intrepid reporter is about to find out. Did I tell you to transform back?
There are 165 moves in Generation 1. We already know the least number of Pokemon needed to use them all, using level up and TM learn sets. But what about if we allowed Ditto to use the opponent's moves? Could we use all 165 moves using only one Pokemon? Let's find out. After getting Transform, Tackle and Tail Whip out of the way, and throwing the first lab battle, it's on purpose I swear, I'd like to see Vaporeon on this run. I'll point out a bit of a redesign on the overlay. On the left we now see any unused moves available to us from wild Pokemon local to the area, or if we're in a trainer battle, which Pokemon have unused moves that we can copy. So in Pallet Town we can see a whole bunch of moves given to us by Wild Tentacool. If only we had a surfing Pokemon or fishing rod to get them yet. A level 4 Pidgey gets us Gust, and a level 6 one gives us Sand Attack. On the route west of Iridian we'll be avoiding the optional rival and instead seeing Scratch and Leer from a Mankey, and Growl from a Nidoran, leaving just inaccessible fishy Pokemon on this route for now. In Viridian Forest we get Metapod's Harden, waste all of our power points and use Struggle, and then we get Caterpie's String Shot. And now it's time for Brock. We see on the left Brock's Onix gives us 3 moves, Screech, Bind and Bide. I've highlighted Bide as this is the only Pokemon in all of Gen 1 that will give us this move. As for how I can get to the Onix without already transforming into a useless Geodude, I'm allowing switching between Pokemon and items. This run is more about using the moves than completing a game with a Ditto. We use a Weedle's Poison Sting on the way to Mount Moon, a Rat's Quick Attack, a Snake's Wrap, and a Nidoran's Horn Attack. And then a Wild Mankey and Spearow help us get Low Kick and Peck on the list. The Jigglypuff trainer I normally do everything I can to avoid is helpful with Sing, Pound and Disable. In Mount Moon we get Leech Life and Supersonic from Wild Zubats. I know they're pretty rare so I'm grateful we were able to see one. Stun Spore from a Wild Paris, and Absorb, Growth and Vine Whip from the Lass with all the plants. A Wild Geodude gives us access to Defense Curl, and the Fossil Nerd's Coughing gives us Smog. The Cerulean rival has a Fury attacking Spearow and a Hyper Fanging Rattata. And from the Nugget Bridge trainers we get Double Kick from Nidoran, Karate Chop from Mankey and Bite from Zubat. And just before Bill we copy Confusion off a trainer's Slowpoke. Misty's trainers give us Bubble and Withdraw, and the gym leader's Starfish let us borrow Water Gun and Bubble Beam. We get Hypnosis off the Innocent Bystander, and then it's onto Vermilion. A trainer's Weeping Bell has Poison Powder, his girlfriend's Cubone has Bone Club and Headbutt, and this Butterfree has Sleep Powder. Into Diglett's Cave we get, you guessed it, Dig from a Diglett, and from the trainers east of Vermilion we get Slash, Sonic Boom, Ember, Roar, and Thunder Shock. The SSN is pretty uneventful except for getting Acid off a trainer's Tentacool, and then it's onto Surge's gym. Mystique learns to blow herself up from a Gentleman's Voltorb, and Surge shows off his fancy new move pool with a Thunderbolt, the only instance of Mega Punch in the game, and a Mega Kick. On the way to Rock Tunnel we get Rock Throw from a Hiker's Onix, and then bump into this youngster with a Sandshrew with Fissure. How did I not know this guy existed? A couple of junior trainers let us have Payday and Double Slap, and then it's into the dark. While fumbling around flashless, we get Leech Seed from a junior trainer's Bulbasaur, Confuse Ray from a random Wild Zubat, again, so lucky to have encountered one of them, Rage from a Pokemaniac's Charmander, and Whirlwind from a final junior trainer's Pidgey. All the pink on the left side of the screen means it's that time again, the hunt for a Kinesising Kadabra. We find one eventually and get Kinesis and Teleport crossed off, but I ran out of patience waiting for a Psybeam Kadabra to show up, so I'll pick that move up elsewhere. Erica's Gym helps us with Reflect and Barrage from the Execute trainer, and Constrict, Mega Drain, Razor Leaf, and Petal Dance from the leader herself. A Wild Spearow and Rattata by the Fly Girl's hut give us Mirror Move and Focus Energy, then it's a spooky trip to the Pokemon Tower for some ghost moves. We quickly get Lick and Nightshade added to our list, and now with the Pokeflute in hand we can wake up a bear and get Amnesia and Rest. I'd originally got these moves highlighted because I thought they were only known by Lorelei's Slowbro and Dugong. Turns out static encounters like Snorlax don't show up in the data I used, as they aren't technically a wild Pokemon. Oh well, something to know next time. Lots of moves to steal in Koga's gym. Once he finally stops switching his Pokemon about, a Juggler gives us Poison Gas, Psychic, Recover, and Psybeam. We've used over half the moves in the game now. Are we thinking this might be possible with just one Ditto? We get Glare off an Arbok, and then it's onto the Ninja Master himself. His army of gnats let us use Toxic, Double Edge, and Double Team. We blitz through the Safari Zone to get the required items, ignoring all the Pokemon we're not allowed to transform into, and then grab Wing Attack from a Wild Pigeon east of Fuchsia. There are a few trainer moves in this area we haven't used yet. Swords Dance from a Farfetch'd, Weezing's Sludge, Spearow's Drill Peck, and finally a Clefairy who knows Minimize and the only instance of Metronome in the game. I don't know about you, but I'm sick of seeing Magikarp on the left side of my screen wherever I go, so I grab the old rod from Vermilion and learn Splash off a fish. Sylph lets us fight a juggler with a Mr. Mime who knows Barrier and Light Screen, and in the rival battle we get to use Sandslash's Swift and Vaporeon's Aurora Beam. Giovanni is no threat, but he does do us a solid and lends us his Rhyhorn's Stomp and Nidoqueen's Body Slam. 100 moves down, let's do some karate. An angry pig monkey teaches us Fury Swipes, and the master of the Knot Gym fills our board with a Meditate, the only rolling kick in the game, Agility, Fire Punch, and the only Comet Punch. In Sabrina's gym we eat the dreams of a Haunter, and against the leader we see the Oni Flash and the all-powerful Psywave. On the surf down to Cinnabar we borrow Smokescreen off a Seadra and Clamp off a Shelder. In the Cinnabar Mansion we get Superfang off a Wild Rattata and Takedown off a Wild Growlithe. Things heat up in Blaine's gym with a Flamethrower from a trainer's Vulpix, Fire Spin from Blaine's Rapidash, and Fire Blast from his Arcanine. It's the final Giovanni battle now, where we use Nidoqueen's Thunder and Earthquake, and after a fair few resets Rhydon's Rock Slide and Horn Drill. I'd knocked Nidoking out before I realised he had a move I needed, so I'll be grabbing Thrash later. Nope. The pre-league rival gets 6 on the board with Execute's Solar Beam, Magneton's Thunder Wave, and Vaporeon's Haze, Mist, the only Acid Armor in the game, and a Hydro Pump. Before the league I grab the Super Rod and head to Cerulean to hook a Sea King with Waterfall, and then a Vice Grip and a Guillotine from Kingler's outside Bill's house. On the route to Victory Road I get Seismic Toss from a Mankey and Thrash from a Primeape. We steal Skull Bash off a trainer's Wartortle on Victory Road, a substitute from Mr. Mime, Spore off a Parasect, and Slam off a Bellsprout. Before Mystique nobly sacrifices herself using Explosion from a wild Geodude. Lorelei's team is bursting with new moves. We get the only Surf in the game from Slowbro, the only Lovely Kiss and an Ice Punch from Jinx, and a Blizzard from Lapras. I got so excited that I forgot to steal anything from Cloyster, so I'll come back for those moves soon. Bruno shows he's one of a kind with a load of one of a kind moves: Thunder Punch, High Jump Kick, Strength, and Submission. Nothing new from Agatha, so it's time for Lance. From the Dragon Master we get the one and only Dragon Rage, Hyper Beam, Ice Beam, and the Oni Fly. And a bit of an anticlimax, but we get nothing new from the rival champion fight. But our story doesn't end there. We pop back into Victory Road for a trainer I missed with a Crab Hammer and Kingler. Then we start a brand new game, win the rival fight in the lab, and also win the optional rival fight west of Viridian. And cut to the Elite Four again. We'll get Spike Cannon from Lorelei's Cloister this time around, and now against the Jolteon rival we can grab Pin Missile. 151 moves. It would have been really nice if they'd matched the number of moves with number of Pokemon, but oh no, this isn't Gen 2. We need to head over to Pokémon Red for a few moves now. I'll remove the Wild and Trainer images from the overlay to keep these last few a secret, and not because I'd hard-coded my overlay to only work in yellow. After getting all the way to the league again, our man Bruno gives us access to the Oni counter in Gen 1, along with the Oni jump kick in Gen 1. After defeating whatever I named the rival this time around, we're allowed in Cerulean Cave. We get Tri-Attack from a Wild Dodrio, and one floor up a Wild Marowak lets us use Bone Meringue. And we're done. Yeah, I'm afraid to say using just a Ditto we can only get access to 155 moves, 10 shy of our goal. Those 10 missing moves not available in any of the Gen 1 games are Razor Wind, which is on no level up learn sets. Clearly the trainers of Kanto feel the same way about this move as the rest of us, as nobody's taught it as a TM either. Cut, again, not on anyone's learn sets. Twineedle, it's Beedrill's signature move. There are no wild Beedrills in any of the games, and the only trainer Beedrills we fight are too low of a level to get this move. Mimic, again it's on nobody's level up learn set. Egg Bomb and Soft Boiled, they're both TMs and not on the learn sets of Execute or Chansey. Sky Attack, only Moltres has it by level up, but his static counter is too low of a level to know the move. Dizzy Punch, We get a couple of Kangaskhans in the game, but too low of a level again to know their signature move. And finally Sharpen and Conversion, and there are no wild or trainer Porygons for us to copy those off. But we're completionists on this channel, so I'm not going to leave till that 155 becomes an 165. Getting our final 10 moves are our new minimum team of Pokemon. Razor Wind and Sky Attack from Pidgeot, Twineedle, Cut and Mimic from Beedrill, Soft Boiled and Egg Bomb from Chansey, Sharpen and Conversion from Porygon, and finally Dizzy Punch from Kangaskhan. So ignore my other video, the true minimum team count for using every move in Gen 1 is 6. And please, nobody mention Metronome. As always with these videos, I'll use the end to go in a bit of detail about how I did my calculations. Again, I'm neck deep in the Pokemon disassemblies. This time I grabbed the level up and level 1 learn sets of every Pokemon using the Evo's moves and base stats files, and then wrote a little function to return what moves that Pokemon would know at what level. Wild Pokemon and Trainer Pokemon, excluding a few special cases, all follow the same rules when it comes to what moves they know. If they level up and can learn a move, they do learn the move, and they replace the oldest move on their previous move list. So for the example of the wild level 46 Primeape we fought, his moves are the last 4 moves he could have learnt, so Rage, Seismic Toss, Screech and Thrash. This is helpful when it comes to finding out how many moves Ditto could use in Gen 1 because we have access to all wild Pokemon data, showing which area has which Pokemon and at which levels, and we also have all trainer party information, showing which trainers use which Pokemon and at which levels. So using these data sources and our new function, we know every move we can access in every area using wild or trainer Pokemon. There are some special cases where trainer Pokemon don't have their exact level up learn set. In Red and Blue, all gym leaders and Elite Four members have extra moves. With the gym leaders, this is their ace having access to the TM they give as a reward after beating them, so Brock Sonics has Bide, Misty Starmie has Bubble Beam. In Yellow they stepped it up a notch, and mixed up lots of moves for lots of trainers. For example, giving this Bug Catcher's Metapod, Tackle and String Shot to make him a harder challenge, or giving that random youngster's Sandshrew a one-hit KO move. So using this special moves file, I'm able to go through all my trainer movesets, swap out the ones in the file, and now I know that Bruno's Machamp has strength in Yellow. Then all that's left for us to do is sort every move by how many places there are to learn it, and get 2 separate lists, one for Red and Blue and one for Yellow, which gives a handy little to-do list for the games, and also tells me some fun facts, like that these moves are only known in one place by one Pokemon in the games, or that the top 5 most common moves in the games are these. No wonder I feel like I spend half my time in Gen 1 confused. Finally, here's the list of all moves that are available in Red and Blue but not Yellow, and vice versa. It really shows the steps they took to make Yellow a more challenging, interesting game to play through. That'll do it. Thanks for watching. I'm interested to see what this challenge would look like in Gen 2, so watch this space. See ya!